Hey, I think we're live. I'm getting weird
Yep.
messages. Welcome everybody once again to the Horrific Talkspot. I think. Let me just double check because I'm getting.
Or you'll see it eventually,
Yeah, it's saying. I mean,
if not live, and you'll see it.
yeah, I just hope we are broadcasting. Give me. This is always great. Great start. Let's play with technology and get the break on us. So, yep. Apparently we are. Yay, we're doing stuff. Okay, so we'll assume that we're live because why not? We live in hope.
Hey, we're recording
Yeah,
regardless,
something's
so
happening. So,
you'll see it eventually.
if anybody is in chat, I may or may not see you. Hopefully, but God, what a time to live! What a time to live. So, you're
Yeah,
halfway towards vaccination glory.
I am. I totally am. I got my first step in my Russian mind control shit today. That was very uneventful. I wasn't sure if today was the day that they, shove an iPad up my ass or not to track me, but wasn't today. I just got a tote and a Walgreens band-aid, so
We
yay.
voluntarily let everybody track us anyway, so
Oh
it's,
God, I know that's the thing I keep fucking arguing with people over. It's like you have a smartphone, right? Like they can track you whenever they want, whoever they is. I mean, I'm assuming people are talking about the aliens behind the scenes and they live. Um,
no,
I
it's
don't
not even
know.
that clever. Right. I watched during the
No.
week. I've just finished that analysis module, and we were just talking about social media and big data and how it's all coming in and the new ways that they had to actually reinvent databases to track the number, like just basically the sheer numbers of uh, transactions that happen minute by minute. You know what I mean? It's like 1.5 million transactions every minute at minimum on every platform.
Damn.
I mean, it's billions of transactions a day, and they had to actually read because it's like date time, and it might be a photo, it might be a sound clip, it might be a video, it might be a GIF, it might be something else. Traditional databases just
Hmm.
can't, cope with that. They're, I mean, you'd have to like use the moon to hold all the data centers to do it the traditional way. So that's why this
Hmm.
thing called NoSQL just basically had to reinvent the wheel. But on that, we are recommended to watch a documentary called The Social Dilemma. I don't know if you've seen
Hmm.
that.
I
That
haven't.
is fucking scary. It's like a half documentary, half drama. So they use like a
Hmm.
fictional sense of a family to like make the points. And holy
Hmm.
shit, the basically what it is, these companies aren't in control. The algorithms are. They're basically flying by the seat of their
Hmm.
pants, trying to keep a grip on these algorithms that are just have taken over. Like nothing that sci-fi has tried to come up with is even close to reality.
Jesus.
So it's all by like the length of time you spend in the video, how you react, or it just does all the percentages of engagement, between flicking between video to video, and this is all designed
Hmm.
to keep you attached to that screen.
Hmm.
Do you mean there's somebody out there being pointed to two old farts like us talking because of an algorithm because they're being programmed to like the shit that we talk about? Isn't that great?
Fuck. Hell
And
Skynet.
God, it's like Skynet's like the kid brother or sister, to be honest, compared to this shit that's going on. Like they don't even need to build killer robots. They've got everybody, and it's actually the generation that's grown
Yeah,
up
it's
knowing nothing else but
fucking
this
insane.
are the ones that are just completely they're owned. It's
Hmm.
and when you see the links between depression and people's actual self worth being you know put into metrics on how many likes they get, actually like genuinely affects how they feel as a person. It's
Jesus.
bonkers. Like, honestly, folks, take a day off. Switch everything off for a
Right?
day, a week. Just one day a week. Just, honestly, switch it all off. Light a few candles. And just chill. Because, honestly, that's...
Right? Go outside. It's beautiful
Yeah,
outside. There's a
we're finally
sun.
getting daylight until about 6 o'clock at night. It's just gone dark now.
Ooh, fancy.
That was another thing I found out. Used to really, which I noticed actually, America don't really have seasonally affected disorder because you're in the scheme of the equators. You're slightly further south than the United Kingdom. So because we're further north, closer to the Arctic, it's one of the meridian lines anyway. That's why we have between November and like February, we maybe get 5 hours of daylight, and that's if it's a clear sunny day, which in the winter obviously it isn't. So even the 5.5 hours of daylight could be overcast. So at this time of year, the heights of, I know this is a complete tangent, but this is the interesting. Real life can be as horrific as fantasy sometimes, but the level of depression just skyrockets in these like 3 months. So combine
That's
that.
crazy to me. I would love to be in darkness all the time. It's so relaxing.
Yeah, I think it's more just the daily cycle just messes with people.
Yeah.
You know, you get up in the morning, the day changes to go back when you don't know, I think, whether it's day or night. You know, over a long period of time, I think it just messes with people's body clocks, and then it just
Well,
you know, no, I mean, it's like the whole the theory behind werewolves being the phases of the moon and everything else. We are, I don't know, we're just completely helpless to nature and what goes on. Anyone that thinks that humans are like really something special, yeah, we can make fancy gadgets and toys, but
Yeah, we can make shit we don't
yeah,
actually
but
need.
honestly, one we're just one cataclysmic event just being nothing, you know what I mean? And actually, I think we had cope less than the animal kingdom. I mean, obviously, your redneck that goes out hunting every week has a chance. You know, the ones that go out shooting with bows and stuff. But even in their band, super composited, pre-made stuff. They're not like whittling down sticks. So
Yeah.
they might cope a bit better, but no, it's just it's funny how like inconsequential we are, and just susceptible to everything. And I think this whole situation. Apparently, there's certain words in YouTube if you even say, because the algorithms, they'll just ban you now. It's nuts. Like, don't even take it in context. So let's just say the lurgy.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just fucking stupid.
This is just heightened everything, and that's why we're just, you know, just seeing all this craziness. Talking of which, just shared obviously the live stream just so we can get a few people to come on board. God, the random messages I was just telling you before we went online.
Yeah.
So I get this reply, just I have to share it because it's just like, what the fuck? So much joy in my heart. Just received my profit. I'm so grateful, Hudson. Until the whole world get to know how good and generous you are, I won't stop saying this, cause my life has taken another greatly shape financially. I'm sharing this to encourage all the investors to invest with Hudson. He is a legit and God-fearing man. Click on the name to message him on Facebook. Hudson, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you're like, yeah, here.
Know the people that you're trying to scam. You think we're gonna be like, oh, God-fearing individual, we must get in with him?
It's a horror group. It's like
Oh fuck.
that's when you're reaching. That's I know I'm not the greatest at advertising, but that's when you're absolutely reaching.
Yeah, that's fucking bad.
Like, they obviously don't even read the original posts. I don't know how to do it. Because trying to share episodes or anything around the Facebook groups is a fucking nightmare. They had a good tool and then they removed it because obviously it got spammed to bits. But they actually go through. It's a freaking task in itself. It's 25 minutes to share through a handful of groups. Just to say, here's what we're doing now. You know, come join us.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go.
Yeah, gone are the days of just writing a message, then clicking like 10 groups and then
Yep.
hitting send. It was nice back then.
No, obviously that's too easy. Anyway, shall we jump
Mhm.
into the show and
Yeah,
actually talk
let's
about
go
what
ahead
we're meant to do?
right. Well, I guess with that, let's get into horrific.
Okay, this was my fault. I'll apologize now for putting you through this.
A Nightmare Wakes. That was man, I'll just start off by saying I don't know what I was expecting. And I like period dramas. I like shit where it's you have to think about it, and that's where the true horror and terror and stuff comes from, is what you think about while watching it. This one though, so the rating on Shudder was Three Skulls, and I agree with Three Skulls.
Yeah, I thought I'd split this into two parts of how to review it because, first of all, we shall take it as a standalone period drama horror piece about an unknown writer in the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we'll talk about how it relates to actual Mary Shelley, because that's a bit that's really pissed me off. So, what do you want to do first? Do you want to get angry first, or do we?
Let's go ahead and start with the latter, because admittedly, I really don't know much about Mary Shelley's like personal life or anything. So when I was watching this, I'm just like, oh, well, if that actually happened, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, right. I thought this was very disingenuous. Like, one of the most prolific horror writers of all time, and
Yeah, created like modern
yeah,
horror as we know it, like a lot of
like
it.
fuck off, film. Seriously, you have her out as a weak, fucking partially schizophrenic, uh, doting, simpering, unimaginative, owned by her own creation, just wistful, like everything that is would be unflattering or weak about a person, a woman in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, but no. They, she was brought up by what would be modern liberal parents at the time. Well, in fact, her mother died,
Mm-hmm.
like not long after childbirth, but they were both of the same mindset, if that makes sense. So she was brought up
Mm-hmm.
anyway to be independent, willful. She wasn't this. You know what I mean? If you read her story or any other account, she was not this. This is like a parody of Mary Shelley. How can you make a movie? It's like I didn't even look up who the director was, but you must not like this woman if this is the story you're writing about her.
Or
Yeah,
women in
this is
general.
a hate piece. There's no if buts or
Yeah.
maybes. This is somebody that hates women and hates Mary Shelley, because this was not
Mm-hmm.
flattering to her.
No.
So the story of her life is that she was brought up. Her father encouraged her to do her own thing to a point. Still,
Mm-hmm.
19th century, still high society. You know what I mean? She wasn't brought up, so there's still the rules, if that makes sense. And we've talked about this before with the Dracula movie and that. You know what I mean? There was rules for thee, but not for me, sort of thing. But high society still had
Mm-hmm.
to maintain the facade of how they lived, even though it was the most debauchery, decadent century. I think the Victorian era was really strange. It was very this persona of like really stiff, moralistic, like show presented to people, but in the background they were up to all sorts of shit that would make us blush. You know what I mean? It would make some of the modern, you know, so-called kinky people blush of the shit that went on. So that was the thing she was kind of brought up in. It was when her father married again, and she did not get on with her stepmother. So, as an act of rebellion, she took her stepsister, her stepmother's daughter, and basically went off with Percy Shelley, and they just went on basically like a road trip party, the equivalent of going on a road trip. None of this came across in this movie.
Yeah,
The
I
Hatter
wouldn't
is
have
like
known
the
that.
simpering bystander, where it was well known that she was an active participant. The reason that they got cut off was because of their actions that they went out to this, and that she brought she basically corrupted her stepsister. If that makes sense. So she let her stepsisters try and went to all these parties, and they travelled Europe and got up to all sorts, but none of that was brought across. The Hatter is a victim in this, which I'm sorry, but yes, we know the story in 19th century. Like, there weren't women writers, there weren't women actors, but there were. If that makes sense, she could not have got where she was unless she had backing. Does that make sense? So she needed
Yeah.
people on board, and her husband was on board with her. You have to have a pretty good personality to be able to talk people around in that society to achieve what she achieved. You know what I mean? You have to be charismatic. You have to show laser magic. You have to, you know what I mean? You have to woo people. You have to bring them around you. Even if you go under another pen name, you still need somebody to advocate for you. You can't just make it up. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, of course.
with those challenges, for her to get what she did means that what an exceptional person she was. This film basically takes that and just sets fire to it.
Yeah, no, this is straight up like this is what you would imagine a woman of that time would be like. Just completely beaten down, stuck behind a man, and really her life is just being at home, and that's yeah, that's far from her.
Which, at the same time, let's flip the coin, and because we love painting this modern society that flipping kids today want to paint this picture, which there's always accuracy. You know what I mean? Like any stereotype or depiction, there's always accuracy, but it's not the whole story. So you're an up and
Hmm.
coming man. You have the fortune. You have, you know what I mean? You have society. You can go and do whatever you want. What benefit is it to you to tie yourself down with a wife and kids? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I think men were trapped as much as women in the society that they were in. If that makes sense. No, I mean they were both stuck in the hamster wheel. They have to go through the motions, for family lineage and
Hmm.
joining families together and all that kind of stuff. And even the birds are getting excited. They're up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they
Yeah,
definitely
they
agree.
agree with me totally. You can hear them. But this this whole way that they're putting it across just is nonsense. They had it hinted like Mary Shelley had 4 kids and 3 died, and it was stuff that you know what I mean in before the modern age. You know, this is just on the cusp, the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and this is what changed the world. And this is
Mhm.
and the big thing was actually sanitation, which went towards women's rights. If you want to look into historical facts, actually having clean running water and a way to get rid of waste and clean clothes. That's what actually freed society. Because if you were working class, every day was survival. So the reason you had the rules
Mhm.
is because everyone was just trying to survive day by day. Life was not good for anybody. If that makes sense, because guess what? The human race is still evolving. And it's like they're trying to
Mhm.
put a 21st century lens across the 19th century, but also what they did here was actually they pissed on a remarkable woman who gave us something wonderful and actually, as you said, created horror. Like, there's movies being made within the last 10, 20 years, books being written that'll be forgotten. Anyway, this thing's still going strong into over 300 years. And it's still the staple that people draw to for horror. And this
Yeah,
movie just
absolutely.
pissed all over her, and that's what got me angry. They hinted that she
Mm.
committed infanticide, which I think was just fucked up. It's like, what are you playing at? They tried to hint that she,
Right. What was the point of that? Like, there was no end game. There was no reason for her to do that. Yeah, I mean, granted, she was raped, but still, like, she wanted the child.
but once again, that wasn't even, you know what I mean? The even the society husband wife thing, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense the way they're portraying her as a victim. And I'm
Hmm.
sorry, but Mary Shelley was no victim. She was a hero. And I hate the fact that
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
destroying in this day and age heroic women who actually learned. Okay, this is the game, and they played it, and they beat it, and that should be celebrated. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that
Hmm.
if society's stifling you, and you find a way around to basically be a full person and to get what you want out there by beating the game and making the connections and having a sponsor and having people batting for you, even though it was originally get under a different pen name. But guess what? You're still making the money from it. You're still getting to live your dream.
Hmm.
Why is that not celebrated? Why does it have to be this utter shit?
Right. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get
And
it.
the Hatter making Frankenstein to be like a 50 Shades of Grey type lover. Like, this was just
Hmm.
awful. Like, in terms of trying to tell the story of Mary Shelley,
See,
it was just terrible.
as much as I hated that idea, I did like that as being her escape. Like, her fantasy, her escape, and her project were all the same thing, and it was to her almost a flesh and blood character, where Victor Frankenstein was her savior. Now, granted, of course, it's dumb that like, oh, all women have to have a man to protect them, but I mean, really, that was her protecting and rescuing herself. But yeah, it was. See, I have such conflicting feelings about it. Like, I need to watch it again. 'Cause I always say I need to watch everything at least twice to have like a full, honest opinion about it. This is definitely one where I need to go into it even with all this baggage just to see if I can appreciate it more.
This story has been told before and much better. There's another
Hmm.
version in, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s. Because here's what they glossed over, and as an orbit that just had me fucking screaming at the, the movie. The whole scene at Lord Byron's house, and this is what, and it's been well documented that how it was all in a drawing room and they were telling each other stories. And it was actually that group, each of them brought their
Hmm.
own tale,
Yeah.
and then Mary Shelley told hers, and the whole point was that she was the only person that actually brought her idea from that night and the actual fruition. Everyone else kind of told the story, flexed their
Hmm.
imagination, but didn't go any further. So she was showing an example of, if you want to be successful, you follow through. So there's another modern day story about Mary
Hmm.
Shelley succeeding because she followed through, was just glossed over. Because she said in this, oh, it's not ready yet. Oh no, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just they glossed over the whole scene that actually was the birth of this creation, which affected
Hmm.
uh, culture is important.
Hmm.
Guide or worse. They just once again pissed over that whole story. The most important part
Yeah.
of it. I'll try and find it, but there was another version done years ago, and they did this so much better without having to destroy the character of Mary Shelley. And that's what this is. This isn't doing her any favors. This is destroying a wonderful creator, a wonderful woman who went against the odds of her time, and actually, nearly 400 years later, what are we? No, sorry, was it 300?
Something like that.
This story's over 300 years old. The story of Frankenstein. Still have an impact today. Stories are still based on this. When you look at Monster, you look at the. You know what I mean? He's still part of our lives.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? We can't get away from him. That's how much. That's somebody who's made an impact in the world, and they should be celebrated, not made down to be some sniveling victim.
Right.
So, that's my thoughts on the actual story of Mary Shelley. Now, as a drama, because let's not piss over the movie entirely. This, I know I'm really good at that, but if we took this as a standalone drama of an unknown character falling into descent and madness and trying to, as you said, in an abusive relationship that she's trying to escape from, it's actually a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I'm so conflicted.
Yeah. So the actual, the cinematography, the actors, if it was something else and not Mary Shelley, this is actually a really good movie. So if you don't know anything about Mary Shelley, or you can switch that part of your brain off where you're not going, ah, then you could actually enjoy this. The whole scene, her going through day by day, the fact that Percy left his wife to run away with her, and then next, one of the first things we're introduced to is his wife killing herself. Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, that's the introduction of the film, with no context.
Just
so that was fun.
Straight away, you're like, "What the hell's going on?" So, in that respect, yeah, it's very gritty. It's drama based. It's very atmospheric. I did enjoy where she would disappear into the scenes of her creation.
Oh yeah, that was
actually
awesome.
well done. It wasn't CGI heavy. It wasn't cheesy. You know what I mean? It looked good. The movie looked good. We see Percy. He's almost descending into his own madness as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like they joined a cult. That's the way this is kind of presented.
So
Lord Byron,
definitely. Well, especially with that last party scene, where Mary ends up consuming drugs too. Like that straight up was like a fucking sex cult.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like, what's her face? Was it Alyssa Mack? What'd you call her out of Smallville? The one with the blonde hair.
I have no idea.
She ran a sex cult. She's in jail right now. But I just pictured, I think it's Alyssa Mack, something Mack anyway. To me, that's the modern equivalent of her inviting you to a party and a wee bit of sex, and next thing you know, boom, you're under the power of somebody. That's what I was getting the impression of. So if this was actually about a random couple getting drawn into a cult, and while this is happening, she's actually creating a world to escape from it. This would have been an excellent movie. So if it hadn't been Mary Shelley, if it hadn't been Frankenstein, if it had been something else, this could have been a fantastic, independent, off-the-cuff movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they glossed over Percy was actually drowned. He went, he was on a ship. I think he was sailing from Switzerland. He was on his publishing tour. Because there was actually purpose to this as well. Percy was a well-known poet. He actually was his editor. That's how they functioned as a team. So they're actually on the equivalent of a book tour, even though they didn't really, they kind of glossed over that. And then he was travelling to somewhere else, and then he sunk in the ship, but they kind of left that bit out. So they had him kind of disappear as if he just vanished, or were they trying to hint that she killed him?
Yeah, I just thought he just kind of just bamfed out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was. So as I said, the kind of, if this hadn't been Mary Shelley, if it had just been a psychological thriller, let's say, this could
Hmm.
have been a very good movie because the atmosphere was there. The actors were actually
Hmm.
pretty decent. I thought there was none of the actors I hated. I thought they
Hmm.
played pretty good roles and they were actually convincing.
Yeah, the only one I had an issue with was Lord Byron until I realized who that was, and then it's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah,
That's of course how he's gonna act.
so he's basically too typed. You know what I mean? So, like I
Hmm.
said, the we've seen so many films or reviewed so many films now that the flipping actors are box, like position themselves around the set and not doing anything. It was actually refreshing to
Hmm.
see people actually making an effort.
Right.
So in that respect, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact they committed to their
Hmm.
characters. I'm trying to think what else to say about this, so it's not complete downer.
Well, the thing is, like, the easiest way to sum up this film is if you can separate, if you can understand that this is a dramatization, like this is them taking their own artistic freedom with a story that, you know, isn't necessarily well known, but it's known of a story that's very well known. Like it's great. It's beautifully shot. It's the actors are all well, like fantastic actors in there. Like you were saying with the scenes where she starts to actually dive into the story that she's writing, like actually seeing it play out in front of her, like that shit's fucking brilliant. Like I absolutely adored those. Like it's worth seeing.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to leave it. It's worth saying just separate if you're a Mary Shelley fan, switch up out of your brain off first
Hmm.
and watch the movie. You'll enjoy it, and
Yeah.
then watch it a second time, which actually I'm going to do myself,
Hmm.
and then go through it and then just tear
Yeah.
it apart.
Well, for me, like it's I admittedly I don't really know much about her personal life or anything. I know the name, I know her legacy, but that's about it. And the biggest thing this movie did was it made me want to actually go through and research her history and get to know her, the person behind the monster.
Her story is a fascinating one for its time. She was scandalous, and not
Hmm.
because she was a writer. That's the beauty of Mary Shelley. She was a party animal. She did not mess about. She was a manipulator. She was a leader. She was no victim, and that's what's wonderful about her character. This is not a This is not some weakling. Her
Hmm.
story alone, even in society, without her writing the book, is worth looking into. Fascinating character. Well, I think that's enough said about that.
All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on to horrific remakes.
Okay then.
And here's one I am fucking crazy excited to talk about. I love this. I will go so far as to say that I like this more than the original. And I know that's blasphemous because the original is always better. Bullshit. The original is boring as fuck. I like it. I do. But admittedly, it's a boring as hell movie. Whereas this one, fantastic. And of course, we're talking about the 2005 remake of
So to put this into
Amityville
context,
Horror.
this is Ryan
So
Reynolds
much fun.
pre Green Lantern, pre Deadpool, um, just after Blade Trinity.
Dude, and this is right after fucking Van Wilder. Like, so that was my introduction to this movie. Was the fuck they got the guy that played Van Wilder playing the main lead? Well,
Yeah,
fuck,
so
I
this
guess I
is
gotta
Ryan
see this
Reynolds
train
when
wreck.
he's still. I made the mistake of thinking, oh, I'm looking for Ryan Reynolds clean. He's still fresh, still reasonably.
Mhm.
I mean, he hadn't just but making steam. So good thing to put in context because there was one or two niggly bits I had, but then when I looked at the timeline, it's like okay, like they do with every Hollywood A-lister and putting catchphrases in, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, no, this is just a pure fucking
So
story-driven
let's intro
movie.
because this is where the remake does it much better.
Mhm.
Foes, family. We start off as always with and the massacre.
Oh yeah. Well, this is like classic early aughts kind of intro. Like if you look back at even like I know it's polarized, like a lot of people hate it, but I really like the Texas Chainsaw remake. And 8mm grainy film footage of like
Yep, and also they actually
so good.
gave a bit more context in the remakes retelling of the scene. They actually had
Hmm.
William Dafoe struggling with. Uh, See, here's the thing: was it looks like he's more suffering from insanity than possession.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, if it's insanity, you've broken under the strain of something. Where if it's
Yeah.
possession, there's another conscious entity actually guiding your actions, and you're either completely complicit or you're fighting against it. It's just
Hmm.
a subtle thing,
Fair
you know what
enough.
I mean? It's
Hmm.
it actually makes difference to how the character's viewed, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So I think with the remake, they went more along the insanity route than possession. Would you agree?
No, not really. Because it's like there's different degrees of possession, and I think I mean that's like some shit you have to know about. Um, but I really feel that's a strong point with this. Which I mean, of course, we get in a setup where the whole like throughout the entire movie, it's always the whole catch 'em, kill 'em thing, just sort of in the background. And then of course with the end and the reveal of everything. But I really think it was slowly going through the four stages of possession. Um, and again, like it's if you know anything about like demonology or anything like that, it's standard, I guess, is how it'd go down.
No, cool. I was having a wee bit of a because in the first one, it was a bit more black and white.
Hmm.
A few more subtle inferences made in this one. So it's like they're trying to expand out the story a bit, which actually I did appreciate
Hmm.
because like I was enjoying this movie, retelling the story. I was seeing something fresh,
Hmm.
which I did actually appreciate. Although I do miss Margot Kidder, I have to say I've always had a thing about her.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Why wouldn't
That,
you?
that sorry, but no offense to who was it, Melissa George,
So
but
yeah, Melissa George.
sorry, Melissa, but I was going, oh, it's not Margot. But that's me being a 70s, 80s kid,
Hmm.
growing up in Superman and all that good stuff. But yeah, what do you think about them actually showing Jodie in this compared to the
I mean,
original?
I liked it because of like how much they showed the child and the child's interaction. Now, I mean, of course, if you know anything about the book and the original movie, Jodie's actually a pig. But I mean, it's artistic freedom. I get it. So I thought it was a great way to change it up a little bit. Um, and yeah, I bought it completely, especially because like that little girl's fucking scary as shit. Especially the babysitter scene where she's in the closet with her. Just that whole moment of her grabbing her hand and sticking her finger in her forehead. Oh god, I love that.
That was fun, actually.
That was so much fun.
It was weird the way they did it though, because in the original, Jodie was just she wasn't a separate entity, and she was malicious. Fucking hell, I can't speak. Hold on, let bite myself around the head with a dictionary here to get my brain back working again. In this, the kind of teetered between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a malicious intent that she was like, "Oh, I want to kill you because I want to play mate.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want you in the mortal realm. I want to bring you to the afterlife. So here, jump off the roof of the building."
Right.
That you know what I
And
mean?
that scene, man, that's still, no matter how many times I watch this movie, that shit's just so guttural. Like
Yep.
it's, if you stuck a piece of coal in my ass, I'd clearly fart out a diamond afterwards. Like, so intense.
It's like to give the house more depth. That was something else I want to talk about.
Hmm.
The house itself, obviously, we've got the iconic front,
Hmm.
but it seems to be in the remake, the house is deeper.
Hmm.
There's more to it without even going to the basement,
Hmm.
which I appreciated because actually it gave the house more opportunity to be a villain.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? The
Well,
main
and
is
that's,
more of a character itself.
yeah, and that's a huge aspect of like the novel, the Amityville Horror is like they actually give like a map, like an actual floor plan of the house, just that way you get an idea of where everything is, and it's a background character of that novel. So I felt like they did the house definitely more justice with this than maybe even the first one.
Like, I'll not lie, I'll sell my soul for that porch.
Hmm.
I just picturing that porch sitting out in the summer's day, um,
Right.
with the little vines and stuff. I'm going, okay, here, fine, possess me, but can I just
Yeah, absolutely.
how cheap I am?
Give me a good summer of that and I'll murder my family, whatever.
Yeah, sure. I don't even need that motivation.
Right.
Let's not go there. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds, he's pretty solid throughout this. I have to
Hmm.
say, there was only the scene in the doctors where he was wisecracking, but that was more the character than, oh, it's Ryan Reynolds, he must say these phrases,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
derailed me a second till I looked at his timeline and realized where he was in this. So that kind of brought me back again.
Mhm.
If this had been
Yeah,
made
and
later, then I'd be like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
yeah, see, and shit like that is totally believable because that's the kind of shit I would do. Like, of course, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm scared because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Oh, you're saying something? I'm gonna be a smartass about it. So I totally believed it.
No, it was good. Like I said, it was a solid performance. We actually see him playing a straight role for once,
Hmm.
which to me is fantastic. Any sign of a good actor is when they can switch it up.
Hmm.
Because
Oh yeah, like I said, for me, it was like the last role I had seen him in prior to this was Van Wilder, which is the exact opposite of what he did with this role.
mine, I think, was Blade Trinity. That's where I first saw Ryan, and then didn't really see him again until
Mhm.
Lantern. Then I was
Mhm.
like, oh, what the hell? But
Everybody hates that movie, man, but I fucking love that movie, and I'm like an avid Green Lantern like fanatic.
I don't know.
That's a, that's
Just
a that's a
yeah,
whole other show right
that's a separate podcast. We need to start up to do that shit.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we waste enough time in our lives doing this as it is. But I just love the fact there was a scene when he was chopping wood
Mhm.
with him, and that was an interesting dynamic as well. So rather than just being the married family, he's the stepdad, and to bring that level of angst in, was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they never mentioned about the bio dad. Was he dead or just
Yeah,
left?
no, he was dead.
Oh, he's
They
dead. Shit.
talked about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yes. My apologies.
yeah.
God,
I was like, that was the whole.
that was the whole premise.
Yeah,
I don't know
the
how quickly rank the Lutz, Mr. Lutz. What's his first name? Mr. Lutz. We don't know how long it's been before the death, after the death of the father, and then Lutz comes into the picture. It all seems to be recent, almost as if the mothers are not giving the kids a chance to heal. So that was
yeah.
kind of brought into this, which made an interesting dynamic. But that scene chopping wood with the older kid, holy
That
shit,
was intense.
that was intense. And
Yeah.
that's another sign of Ryan Reynolds that we don't normally see, and it was actually quite refreshing
Oh yeah.
to
It
see him
was
bring that to the table.
terrifying.
You will hold that bit of wood, and the kid was. The kids actually performed quite. No, I mean it's always a hit and miss thing with child actors.
Mm-hmm.
These kids brought it along quite well.
Oh yeah.
What's a good scene to compare? Yep, the father Percy scene. This is where I think he didn't come across as well in the remake, because in the original the family went out in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the normal thing to do? Yeah, you bless. We're going to piss off. You bless the house. Do the
Right.
family not normally have to participate in that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would imagine. It just seems like, of course, would have to be there.
Yeah, because in the original they just pissed off in the boat
Mm-hmm.
and left him to it, which made more sense. Why he would run away the way he did.
Mm-hmm.
But in the remake, they're in the house while he starts, and obviously it basically replays almost scene for scene,
Oh yeah.
except where he just pisses off in the car and runs away from them.
Yeah, that shit's great.
And you're like, you're a dick. Not even a, you need to get the hell out of this house. Nothing like that. He just runs and like, really? Really? Okay. And then it wasn't, when does she go back to see him again? It wasn't for like a week later or something.
Something like that.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you're religious and you bring a priest to bless the house and the priest runs screaming, jumps in a car, doesn't even say anything to you, and speeds off at the speed of 1,000 gazelles, are you going to wait a week to find out what the hell happened? Are you just going to go,
Fuck no.
oh well, I guess everything didn't go to plan then. Everything's fine.
I would be packing my shit and getting the fuck out of that house.
Even if you weren't religious, do you know what I'm saying? And you see
Right.
that shit, you're like, oh dear, something's not quite right there. What the fuck? And
Yeah,
they're just
if
just so
if some
nonchalant about it.
grown ass man's imaginary friend isn't gonna protect him in that situation, yeah, real world's not gonna protect me, so I'd be getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah, honestly, that's a bit that really got me. Of what the fuck? He's taking the piss. Like,
Mhm.
and the family just carries on. I know, obviously, the plot needed to happen, but oh my god, like if you see that happen, you're 5 steps after him going, what the hell
Mhm.
just happened there?
Right. Yeah, I'd be getting the fuck out.
And then a week later, I think in the timeline, she goes to the uh, Catholic house thing, seminary. Is that it? Where his office is?
Yeah.
And that, yeah, it's not the church; it's the seminary where they do all the business.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, your house is evil. Like, yeah, okay, I can understand him. I can understand him racing away, getting to the top of the road, going, putting on the brakes. I can't leave that family there. But he doesn't contact them, and then it's a week later she goes to visit him, and then he just decides to mention that the house is evil and is going to destroy them.
Yeah, it's a great man of God right there.
I'm sorry, but I just lost my shit. I'm just like, what the hell? If they hadn't had him go and kill himself or something, or drive off a cliff, I think it would have been more impactful.
Mhm.
But from just to drive back to his church, and then her to have to chase him down a week later, and then nothing else to come of it.
Yeah, because I mean, they have a telephone. He could have easily called him.
Yeah, or you know what I mean, went, got it, collected himself. Like, you understand being driven by fear, but if you've seen something that evil, and people you're supposed to care about, you know, you'd be straight back to them that day. Was it Amityville 2 that they had the whole team of priests go into the house?
I honestly don't remember. It's been decades since
Because
I've watched the sequels.
How many friggin' films of this is there? There's like loads.
I believe there's 4 counting the remake in the actual canon, or maybe there's 5 with the remake. But there's quite a few Amityville spin-offs, which I couldn't even begin to tell you how many of those are.
Because I remember there's always a scene, and I can't remember from which one it is, but there's like 20 priests go into the house to try and cleanse it, and then the house basically shuts them in, and they're never seen again. So I would expect something like that happening in this, but no, not just to carry on as if life's normal, and then her having to go, what happened there? Oh, your house is evil and going to kill you. You might want to leave. That's a bit that threw me in this whole movie, because I was on board. Like, that but just threw me. It didn't make sense. But anyway, I suppose they were trying to think of something new to do, but I think they could have done that bit a bit better, or just kept it the same.
Yeah.
It's like they had an idea, tried to take it somewhere, and it didn't quite work out. What else have we got? The CGI scenes with Jodie and the other entity. That's my only 2 like proper gripes about this remake.
Yeah, they do feel a little dated.
Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to do, especially the very end scene. But the bit where she's in top of the closet getting her mouth covered, I don't know where they were going with it.
I got it. I mean, I understood it pretty well, because I mean, they're trying to keep her quiet. Like, the house didn't want her to interact with anybody other than the child.
Yeah, but she was also trying to kill the child too, which hinted that she was on their team, or at least working towards the same goals.
I don't think that. I honestly think it's the fact that she's lonely as shit and just really wanted a friend. Like, I truly believe that's what it was.
It was an interesting... This is where they've tried to do something different, and I don't think they gave it enough time to flesh out. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think if they were going to throw... Because they've thrown in a few new elements into this remake, and that was one of them, the competing forces in the house, which I think they maybe should have just stuck to one idea and fleshed it out, but they've put like 2 or 3 different things here, which I think because they had to then split up the screen time, they kind of lost the trick. Because I think they were maybe trying to set these up for like sequels as well, weren't they? Create a franchise.
Maybe.
That was the impression I was getting from it. They were trying to create a big body to be the next, Jason or Freddy or Michael. You know what I mean? I think that's what they were trying to go with this, and I don't think it quite landed. Well, obviously not, because nothing else came of it. You know what I mean? It didn't. We didn't get any sequels from it, so obviously it didn't land. Of course, had to kill the family pet, which there was absolutely no call for. I'm getting pissed off with movies killing family pets.
Yeah, no, I've always hated that. Like, animal deaths and rape are my 2 biggest fucking gripes with movies. Unless it is 100% necessary, don't fucking put it in there. Like, people only use that as a device to be like, oh, see how bad this person is? This is what they do. No, that's fucking lazy, and it's infuriating. With this, I'll accept it. I mean, as soon as you see the dog and the dog's interactions with spirits, you already know what's going to happen. So I think you get most of the movie to prepare for it, or a good chunk of the movie to prepare for it before it happens. But it was unnecessary.
Yeah, especially when they didn't do it in the first one, so it's like, why? But yeah, like I said, the gripes I have with this movie are niggling, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not even because it's a remake, just things I don't like in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, that I can forgive. The actual reveal, because it did quite well keeping the pace, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
the tension, it was really well done. And this time, rather than just being the well and a gateway to the abyss, so to speak, they actually gave it a bit. They almost made it poltergeist sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I fucking love that. Like, I am a
And
sucker for Indian burial grounds.
yep, an American Horror Story. Who was that? Colin, wasn't it? It almost hashed that story, based on a historical character.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. I can't.
It's like the Drew from. Well, actually, no. American Horror Story came afterwards. So what am I talking about?
Yeah, way after.
Way after, but see why things rattle about my head. But that was what I was instantly thinking of when I was thinking Poltergeist. I was thinking American Horror Story because they were done well. So the whole idea of this reverend, having his own torture chamber, which is actually a good thing about the denominations, because he was like Lutheran or something, and then kicking the priest out. That's probably why. That's probably why the priest was scared, because oh no, it's a Protestant. Ah! Never mind Satan. Oh no, it's one of them Lutherans. Ah! That's probably why he shit himself.
That's fair.
But yeah, that was really well done. Like when they actually open up the basement and we'll see all this happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that's pretty grim.
Oh yeah.
But how do you not know? I suppose it was subterranean, but still, even in the 70s, there were surveys done. Like, I love these houses that have like massive sections attached to them and nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just hilarious. It's like, maybe because in the UK, space is limited, so every inch has to be utilised and made for best use because there's no space.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where things are different. Where obviously your side of the pond, it's like, here's a whole continent with loads of space. We can build a home cinema on the side just for the sake of it and make it bigger than the house itself.
Right.
Why not? So I think that's a whole culture thing. But I just love the way these whole subterranean tunnels just get built, and they're well built as well. They're not even. It's not even like Joseph Frizzell type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, these are like proper, like make an engineer proud.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knows about it. It's just I always find that funny.
Yeah, there's just like a little bit of wood paneling in front of it, and it's like, oh, that's just clearly a wall.
Great, but yeah, they really put an effort into this. But that's what I'm saying. If they had have went with this theme and fleshed it out more, almost like I was thinking to myself, the way they did Poltergeist 2 and had the big bad coming throughout it and building up the tension that way. If they had him personified early on, I think we would have got more from it rather than it kind of just being shoehorned in at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because there was a lot of work, but there wasn't really much payoff because we weren't seeing any of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Until it all came crashing at the end of what was going on and what the original side of the house, etc. So, to me, once again, a shame. It was a wasted opportunity. So, if they had maybe stuck to the original, just a demonic entity and the competing forces, or went along this road, I think we probably would have got 2 or 3 sequels out of this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But because I think they tried to throw too much in, I think they were hoping to get sequels. touching these themes a bit more. I think that's maybe what the thinking was behind it. If I look at this, no.
No, I mean I could see it. Like I think that might have been why they didn't push so heavily on the Reverend beforehand, because they wanted to keep it as, you know, is he going insane? Is this a demon? You know, what's going on in his mind? And then, you know, the big reveal at the end that it's an entity there that's causing people to do this because that's what he did in life. Um, I think they did that solely just to keep it a contained idea. Now, of course, if it would have been from the beginning, yeah, no, I agree. They could have easily done at least another sequel or two.
Yeah, that's it. It's only like I was enjoying. Like I said, I wasn't switching off. I wasn't. I was engaged with this movie right to the end. I have to say. Like I said, just these couple of, like I said, couple of niggly points where I thought that's a shame. That's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
To
Yeah, and you're going to get that with most movies anyways. I mean, it's just what happens. There's no such thing as a perfect film.
oh no.
You know, aside from Ernest Scared Stupid. But like for me with this movie, I love it every single time I watch it just as much as I did the first time I saw it in theaters. Like it's one that holds up really, really well.
Absolutely, and even towards the end scene and all, once again they're using the house again as a character. So trying to escape from Lutz and him finally succumbing to almost make history repeat itself. That was done really well.
Oh yeah.
They brought in the rain and they actually using the roof of the house. That was really good. The roof of the house was almost his own character, which I really appreciated. And you weren't struggling to see it happen because you'd already seen throughout the movie the scale of the house. Hence why the whole why is this so cheap? We should be paying 4 times as much.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was really well done. Yeah, even the end, the escaping and stuff. It was there was nothing taken away, I think, from the original with this.
Yeah.
And they didn't make a hash of it. They told a really good story on its own. Like if this had come out the first time, it was actually, you know what I mean, you can watch both movies and get different things from them.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is always a good sign of a remake. My only justification for remakes is if the first one was terrible and somebody thinks it can do a better story, which doesn't normally happen. Like they don't really take bad movies and try to make them better. It's normally they try to jump on franchises. Where I wish they'd maybe do it a bit more the other way. Take a really terrible movie and go, I can do this better. And the other thing's technology. You know, in the 70s you didn't have the technology to bring it across. It was 100% relied on the actors who did a decent job, let's be honest. So that's my reasons for remake. So they've used technology and better cinematography to tell another compelling story, which I'm happy with. You know what I mean? I don't mind remakes, I guess. And more than enough times went past.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my biggest things. It's like there should be at least a decade and a half in between remakes. Like the Cabin Fever remake, that was not even a full 10 years, if I remember correctly. And it's like, why? This wasn't that long ago that movie came out.
Yeah, the first one was pretty decent.
The first one was great. It's so goddamn stupid. And the payoff at the end with the people at the fucking, the general store. I mean, now granted, that's a joke that will not work nowadays.
Let's hold that thought and keep that for another episode and do this a bit
more.
All
right. Yeah.
Yeah, that we'll put that one on the list. I don't think we've actually put the Cabin Fever in the list. Right, that one will have to go on the list.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to, if you want us to do it, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway. Shut up.
We'll do it.
Yeah. Just watch it. There's your told audience.
Yeah.
So, all in all, this was really good remake. It was actually a good story told on its own behalf, I think.
Yeah, everybody strong acting.
Yeah,
Like even the kids, the kids, they weren't just, supporting characters. They were main characters that held their own in their scenes. Like it just all in all was a fantastic movie.
absolutely. And they weren't being dicks for the sake of it. That was the whole thing. They actually managed to bring across the pain that they were in, which
Hmm.
hadn't been addressed, which I think was really, really good.
Hmm.
You know, normally like a fucking Disney movie or a generic rom com where the kid's just an annoying brat and then gets won over in the end and then it's all sweetness and love. No, no,
Hmm.
no, this wasn't it. These were genuinely traumatized kids who were
Hmm.
now going through another upheaval when they haven't
Yeah.
dealt with what happened in the past. And they managed to play that really well. And it
Hmm.
wasn't even at the end, they still don't trust Lutz's character.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not like at the end it was oh, they all come together and save him and that. No, it was all her. She's the one.
Hmm. God, in that final fucking scene where she gets him out, whack right in the face, takes him out. It's like, man, that's a strong fucking female character right there.
Absolutely, and that's what we
I'm gonna
need more
protect
of.
you. I'm gonna fucking, hit you in the face with this gun. Hell yeah.
And that was
God,
believable.
I just love this movie. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the mama bear taking care of her den.
Yeah. So fucking, that's what you need. Yeah. All in all, happy with this.
Mhm.
Really recommend it. Doesn't take anything away from the original. The original is its own thing. That's what I really like. So you're not destroying the original by enjoying this one.
Mhm.
Let's just say maybe with the other freaking 50 odd sequels and remakes and whatever out there, you could be saying that, but this one actually pretty solid.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay then.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the horrific vaults.
I think I need to dirty that safe up a bit more. It's far too clean and pristine for that intro.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be old, so we
Yeah, I
should
need to.
probably
I think I
fuck
need to
it
get
up a
some.
little bit.
Need to get the old editing software and start putting pock marks and chipping away at it.
Yeah.
Oh well. Right. So we didn't do a movie because I think we're kind of squeezing too much in with a movie as well as the Hammer House of Horror. So we've only two more to go after this, and then
Mhm.
that season's finished. So we'll either do another series, maybe random episodes of something, or just do two movies. I don't know, but we'll just decide to go with the Hammer House of Horror this time. This is a seesaw. This is a teeter totter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny shit. Funny shit. This has been a journey. Honestly, we're coming near the end of this run with this show, and honestly, it's actually looked back into it, and the creator was actually told by the studio to bring a writer on board because when they read his original scripts, they just made no sense.
Mhm.
So this has been heavily doctored to try and make it palatable for TV. The
Mhm.
story behind it is quite good. Also, the reason we went from boobies to no boobies is there was a major shitstorm at the time, and they had to edit out like the last so many episodes.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, especially this first one that we're going to talk about. It's like, it makes perfect sense that you would see nudity in this one.
Yeah, but apparently at the time, this show actually caused. That's why I wanted to look at it. This show caused an uproar because it was on terrestrial TV,
Mhm.
and it's hard to imagine now. But yeah, people did get their panties in a bunch over it. So first one, Guardian of the Abyss. What got us have ourselves a wee bit of satanic Satanism.
Mhm.
Like it wouldn't be the 80s unless we had a bit of panic going on.
Right.
Oh my word, this opening ritual. Now, Did you clock?
Just
I'm sorry.
it was so bad.
He couldn't say because of the mask he was wearing. He couldn't find the stand for the scrying glass. Did you know that it took him 3 goes? It's like, oh shit, oh shit. I
Yeah,
lost
that
it.
was
I
pretty
just
bad.
lost it. I just knew exactly what this is going to be.
Mhm.
So, like, they mustn't have done any re-edits or reshoots. Oh man, he's wearing the mask and he can't find the bit where he's meant to put the scrap glass. I just buckled. I just like, oh fuck, here we go. This is exactly what this episode's going to be. And then you notice it disappeared for the rest of the episode.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah,
first scene with the mask, and it's like, no, no, no.
yeah,
I'm gonna hurt myself wearing that.
pretty much. It's like they did this shit all in like just a couple takes with no going back, and somebody just decided, nah, fuck that mask, we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, that's not worth it. It was
That was
just
a shame because that was a cool fucking mask.
it was, and it was actually better than the demon itself. The representation
Yeah, absolutely. That
of the
was
demon was better than the demon.
yeah, that was pretty weird. That was like cheap '80s Halloween costume mask.
But I just that opening scene, I just lost. I'm like, oh fuck, he can't see. And they're trying to take this ritual seriously, and yeah, I just you can just see them all trying to okay, let's carry on. And then I think he must have took the mask off because he was just like, nah, this isn't working.
Hmm.
I think the actor ad libbed during that because there was no way.
Right.
So what we have are these volunteers being brought in to stir in the mirror, so to speak,
Hmm.
and the this is where it's weird because the way they start off and the way they finish is just completely different. So they're trying to conjure up. What the hell did you call him?
I don't remember what the name was.
Kronzon. It's a weird name.
Hmm.
Kronzon. So at the start of these rituals, what they have to do is have somebody willing set up as to be the vessel for Kronzon. They have to look into the abyss, and the abyss is supposed to look back, and they're supposed to enjoy it. When did that change the sacrifice? Because that wasn't what was happening.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think with this they just kind of it was being written as it was being filmed.
it must have been that's the only explanation. It must have been,
Mm.
as I said, I've looked back into this series to find out why it's so all over the place, and it's the
Mm.
creators' writing. It was apparently that terrible that they had to edit episode by episode. Like,
Mhm.
why? They must not have anything else to put on because if something was that bad, why would you air it?
Mhm.
That's weird, but So anyway, we see that we're introduction. We know there's a cult. We know they're trying to summon something, and we know they're bringing in innocents to do it with, and it's not working out.
Mhm.
Then we get to see. I was getting sort of Wicker Man vibes. That's what I kind of put here. I was kind of
Yeah.
getting a sort of vision of the Wicker Man being replayed,
Mhm.
but in little suburbia.
Yeah.
We then cut and we see Ren and Laura. They're the two main characters. They're at an auction. They're both antique dealers,
Mhm.
or she's the antique dealer. What he is, I'm not too sure.
See, I thought he was the antique dealer, and I thought she was just sort of there. It was kind of a a hard one to follow. What the fuck was going on?
Yeah, no, she's the legit antique dealer that owns the
Oh,
store.
okay.
He's like a trader or traveling salesman. It's
That
actually
makes more
his.
sense.
It's actually his role's not really well defined. What purpose he
Mhm.
has? Because he's the one going and getting things evaluated. But if she's running it, then she would have those contacts herself.
You would
Seems to be
think,
well
at
known.
least.
But needless to say, we get introduced to the second scrying gas. So We know what it is. It's got the runes, and then we're introduced to Simon. This is the other character who plays a lot through this. This scene was funny. He offers the bad offer for a fiver, and she had just bought the whole lot for $3.50. And he was very casual about it, and she was about to sell to him, and then he just goes nuts and offers 50. Like, completely breaks his cool, his cover, everything. Like, that was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's supposed to be an antique dealer as well. Like, what kind of business does he run? He can't keep his cool.
Yeah. No shit.
So instantly, like, she just bought this entire box of stuff. He could have just went, oh, that's nice, I'll take that off you. And that could have been it. But then the plot obviously needed the rest of the episode to happen. So they have him just going, oh, I want this, I'll give you 1,000 for it, I'll give you this. And it's like, dude, compose yourself. Then we have Ray. He takes it off to get it valued. And this is, once again, it just gets weird. This is where the terrible writing, but funny at the same time. I think it was meant to be serious, but this is just comedy gold. He's driving off and he runs into Allison, who was next in line to stir into the glass. And he was going to drop her off. She runs on the road. He puts the brakes on. She just escaped from the house, and they're all running about in their robes, like in broad daylight. Like, it was like a Benny Hill scene. It was just, they were trying to take themselves seriously, but this should have been a horror comedy. She runs into him, and then he was going to drop her into town. That was the conversation, if I remember rightly. Next thing we know, it's nighttime, and he brings her home. Like, that's just weird.
It's a Blair Witch Project style of time change.
Yeah, it's like,
they're just in a weird time warp.
But also, he was supposed to have stopped off in a village. That's what he was doing. He completely bypasses that and drives into the night, when it's obviously all live within proximity of the county. So, I don't know. Did he just need to bring her home? Is that what it was? So she can steal the glass and run off? Because that was... he's offering her a drink, and you could have written the script. You could have just seen where it's going. She asked him for water to get him to leave her room. And you could just see exactly what was going to happen next. She's running off with the glass and then spends the night out in the woods. And decides to come back. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I don't know. Then we get introduced to what the hell do you call him? Who was the Lord?
Yeah, I can't.
Big evil dude.
Yeah, I can't remember names.
Charles.
Really bad with remembering names and shit.
Yeah,
probably should have it written down.
Yes, we then get introduced to Charles, who is just got bad guy written all over him. Let's be honest. Like, if he walks into your house, bad guy, and then he's playing with him, using a bit of magic and stuff. The whole bread and salt, you know.
That shit was pretty funny. My wife's like, "Oh, okay, so next time your friends come over, I'm not supposed to give them that shit." I was like, "Fuck, I guess."
Don't invite the evil people around. I don't know, man. That was just, like I said, I think they accidentally made a comedy and they weren't planning to. Like, they were trying to take themselves seriously, and this has just been, it's just comedy gold. So, what happened? He pops him in the head. That's what it was? No. Goes to the, we'll have Simon. Goes to the shop. To Laura. And then Allison changes sides.
Well, I mean, that's, I wouldn't say she changed sides. Like, she was always there. And she even explained to him that she was beholden to the cult because, you know, she was like their property or some shit.
Yeah, weird. So they just have her steal the thing. Like, this is all over the place. Like, it was hard to keep track of this episode. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was accidentally comedic, it'd have been really difficult to watch and like stick with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like I said, from that opening scene, I just knew it was just going to be an absolute shit show, and it was just going to be funny.
Of course. Of course.
So I just kind of enjoyed going along for the ride, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it's like Wicker Man. So you needed somebody to go willingly, and it's like they have the checkbox. Has he done this? Chick, chick, chick.
Oh yeah, they pretty much did that at the end, minus actually having the clipboard and a pen.
That's all they needed. Yeah, so after they steal the scran glass and he goes to rescue Alison, even though Alison was the one bopped her in the head. Bopped her in the head, like you would be like, honestly? And nobody
Yeah,
thought
I'd
the
just
right
been like,
place.
whatever. Fuck her. She wanted to do this, she can take off.
And plus, if you buy stuff on an auction, you get a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
So they had something to go to the police with, but that didn't happen. Auctioneers give you receipts for lots, and they document, even if it's a box of like bric-a-brac, they will give you a receipt. Do you know those people that take over storage bins?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody defaults in their payment to a storage container and then they put it in auction, somebody will maybe pay $50 and then it's like a lottery if they get something valuable in it.
Mm-hmm.
But everything's documented in the thing because that's just the process. None of this was documented, so at any point this episode could have been stopped just by a phone call to the police.
Right.
Here's lot such and such, which I purchased, they stole. Go get it back, please. The end. But instead they had all this convoluted run around stuff. Another thing I brought up was, like, these people never leave the ritual chamber. Like, they spend their whole... It's like they go out in shifts. So they have to have 20 people at all times in the ritual chamber, and then one person gets to go and put clothes on and go out into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting the impression of like Suspiria, but a funny version where they had to be like constantly dancing and ritualizing all day, every day, because that just seemed to be what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just thought was absolutely hilarious. How needy is this demon?
Pretty much, what the fuck are you gonna get from him anyways? Like, really?
That was absolutely hilarious. So Ray, obviously, he's Mr. Brave Stupid Person, runs into the mansion. He gets captured. And then this is where it changed, because all the ladies that tried so far just had to stare into the glass and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
He had to get sacrificed.
Yeah.
When did that change?
Like I said, I think this was all on the fly.
Did somebody find the appendum to the ritual book, part 8? Oh shit, we've been doing it wrong all this time. We need to stick a knife in his chest.
And then the fucking guy that's in charge of the rituals, like, that's cool, man. You can do this.
Yeah, you do it. Let's just break ritual, have conversations. Like, stop. Like, how cool is this magic that you can just fuck about with it?
Right.
Because normally, if you're summoning demonic entities, if you make one mistake, that usually is everybody getting turned to ash.
Yeah.
If you follow the standard logic of summoning stuff from the abyss. These people are just fucking having cups of tea and chats and fucking walking in and out and putting their robes on while they're in the chamber and taking them off and going to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an absolute shambles. No wonder they couldn't summon him. He's looking at these people going, "You're a bunch of fucking muppets. I gave you a set of instructions. Can you not read?" And then the summon Crone's on. And like I said, the makeup that had him on was
God, that was awful.
They'd have been better just putting the mask on.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have actually been
just
better.
paint the fucking mask. Like, that was it. That's all they had to do.
They'd have been better.
And then the transformation was so horrible. Like, that was unnecessary. Give us some flashing lights and some smog and we'll accept it.
Yeah. Fuck, even the werewolf episode did better than this.
Yeah.
And that was pretty awful.
It was really bad.
Oh, I hope this never comes out in 4K. God, that would be something to
I
behold.
don't, I don't always want to watch it in 4K just to see how bad it is. Be like watching Flash Gordon, going from watching Flash Gordon on VHS to watching Flash Gordon on Blu-ray.
Oh my word. Yeah, and then at the end, he then becomes Kronzon. He has everybody bound except Allison, who
Mhm.
for start, Kronzon has no emotional attachment to her whatsoever. So when she assumed she'd be his concubine,
Yeah, I didn't understand that part.
sorry, but no.
Yeah, it's like you're a demon. You can have whoever you want. Why go for
Yeah,
her?
if he's
What's
completely
special about
if he's completely taken over Ray, then Ray's not there anymore.
Mhm.
So there's no connection.
Mhm.
And plus, she's betrayed him twice. So
Right?
it was just like a ta-da. The end.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Almost as bad of an ending as the next one.
Oh my god, yeah. This was special.
That one was awful.
Visitor from the Grave. Oh my god.
I fucking hate shit when they do that switcheroo at the end, where it was all pretend. It's lazy. It's fucking lazy storytelling.
Well, it's not as bad as like the don't know how shotguns work.
Right?
You get a 12
How
piece
the
to
fuck
the
do you go
face.
running after you get blasted in the face? Like, you don't.
You kind of don't have half a head left anymore.
Yeah.
Also throughout this, oh my god, the injury kept changing. Did you notice that?
Mhm.
The 1 minute it's on its right eye, then it's on its left eye. Fuck. You're just like, dudes, come on. So
Yeah.
suppose we'll talk through it. We have the lonely cottage. We have the politest housebreaker ever. He's walking
Right.
around, knocking the windows politely. And you're like, really? And then she, fuck, what's her name? Penny, right? Sorry, Penny. God, she was an awful character for a start.
Yeah.
But yeah, Penny's in the house on her own, and this burglar is coming around knocking politely at the windows before losing her temper. And she actually goes to the window where he is, like following him around.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know, weird. And then, so yeah, he's going to knocking, and then he decides to kick in the patio doors. Like, what a kick that sends wood splintering everywhere.
Right. Dude was a He-Man.
I'm sorry, I've kicked a few doors in my time. It doesn't work that way.
No, it never works like
And
that.
I've done it with boots on, you know what I mean? And still, it's
Mm.
like, duh, fuck.
Yeah.
Things don't splinter. You just get a thunk. Especially the locks those days. They're just dumb, but sure, why not? This is friggin' Hulk type territory. And then, yeah, then she decides to go back and get the shotgun. And like I said, that's where it's hilarious because that close range, it's a 12 gauge. He'd have no head left.
No, well, especially because, and it shows when he goes through and pulls the shells out, like, both shots were
Yeah,
fired. He wouldn't have a head. There would just be a spray of everything on the wall, and that's it.
Instead of a little graze here and a little
Yeah,
pool
like,
of blood.
oh, my eye, I'm gonna run away and die in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not quite how it would
No.
work.
And then we have Harry, the husband. Or they never said if he no he didn't. They weren't married. She was just
I don't
no,
know.
they weren't married. So Harry comes back and then she's explained that she shot somebody in the head with a shotgun and he's ran away and he doesn't pick up a weapon and go after him. He just bimbles through. That's where you start getting like something's going on here. Either the plot's completely stupid or this ain't right.
Yeah. And spoiler, both.
Yes. Yeah. We then find out. Oh, did you notice when he goes to turn him over? Did you see the leg moving?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it was.
Charlie politely helps himself turning around
Hmm.
when he goes to check the body. I lost myself. It was as bad as The Mask. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Am I too heavy? Let me help you.
Right. Thank God I've been wanting to roll over all night.
Uh, like, this is so bad. So bad. So bad. So, of course, what you do is you bury the body and hide the evidence. Because why not?
Hmm.
Like, somebody comes and attacks your home, and there's obvious sign of forced entry. She's in home. Like,
Hmm.
clear case of self defense.
Yeah, and it was an attempted rape. Like I feel like we're
Well,
glossing over that. That's the whole reason
true
why she
enough.
pulled the shotgun on him.
Sorry, I did kind of because that made no sense. Like,
None of it made sense,
also,
really. Like all over a
yeah,
gambling debt. Like, come on, you break somebody's leg, you don't fucking break into like rape his wife and
and
try
he
to
didn't even
kill him.
attempt to do it. Yeah, it was just like an afterthought. Oh well, you're here, I'm here. Like, what the fuck? Plus,
Hmm.
these are well dressed men. These are rich, middle class. They're not like gutter rats. Do you know what I mean? They've got like the
Hmm.
typical shirt and the woolen pullover. The classic middle class English gent look, and a Range Rover. You know what I mean? These aren't gutter rats who are squabbling over like a few $100.
Hmm.
So, for that level of animosity over nothing, doesn't make sense either. Like, the whole thing is just nuts.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. And yeah, sorry, I actually blocked that in my mind because it was so stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was enough for her to go to the police. I just, nah. So you know something's up with this whole
Hmm.
thing to start off with. It's like, what the fuck? What do we get? What do we get? Yeah, the buried body. Plus, the next day, the police call. Just randomly. Like, I'm sorry. And this is what got me.
Hmm.
This thing happened in London. And because somebody said they were going to kick somebody's doors in London, you don't go to a sleepy hamlet and have the police called. I know you do it today over a mean
Right.
tweet. I know that you have the police beating your door in if you say something bad on the internet with the crazy
Hmm.
hate speech laws that are going on right now. But in the 80s, that didn't happen. You don't, because somebody says, I'm going to fill this guy in, you don't send the police to somebody's house, like not even in the same village, on a comment on a Saturday night. It's utter stupidity.
Hmm. Yeah.
But once again, no sign of, like, those patio doors were smashed in, wood and glass was splintered everywhere.
Hmm.
They did not repair that. How the fuck did they repair that to such a professional?
Right. Did he just have like
Yeah,
replacement doors?
frames and glass and everything within an hour of this happening. I'm sorry, that is unrealistic expectation of getting a joiner out. It doesn't happen. Oh god. Yeah, then we have this whole thing with the police, which was weird. We'll find out why later, because obviously it's his friend dressed up as a policeman, which is a criminal offence. I'm sorry, but you don't drive around in a
Hmm.
pan, especially in a country. You get pulled over and clanked up. So that was a bit.
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, I don't know about over there, but over here, I mean, that's federal
Yeah,
offense. Like, you're doing
it's a crown
prison time over
offence
that shit.
to wear the uniform of any of the. You know, what I mean, if you wear a soldier's uniform, police. If you wear the uniform that you're not authorized by the Her Majesty to wear, you're in Crown Court. It's considered
Hmm.
almost treason. You know, what I mean, it's a serious offence
Hmm.
because it's under. Yeah, because it's
As it
undermining
should
the
be.
fabric of society. You know what I mean? If people just dress up and go around doing shit like that, that's you're doing big time for that. So just to do an acting scene for a con was just weird. By the
Hmm.
way, folks, spoiler: this is all weird. I mean, it's con. There's no plot to the story anyway, so
Mhm.
go with it.
Well, yeah, it's like we don't even really need to go over everything else because there's not really anything that happens other than, aside from that,
Yeah,
that part, we're assumed that she's insane and that he saved her from her parents wanting to lock her up in an insane asylum. But they never explain what she has and
yeah.
what pills she's on, just that she has to take a pill every now and then. It's like there's
Yeah,
nothing to
no,
to
and then
this
we meet these
story.
weird characters like Margaret, the psychic, conveniently,
Hmm.
and we start seeing Charlie appear. And like I said, he's 1 minute his left eye's been mangled, and then his right eye's been
Hmm.
mangled. They can't make up their mind from scene to scene
Yeah.
which head part of his head got shut off.
Hmm.
um, fuck, when we meet Gupta, that's when I lost it.
Yeah, that was
Like the
awful.
whole setup for that they had to go to India for a psychic. Where I'm sorry, the joke is that what's the capital of India? Birmingham, because there's such a large Indian community in the UK that actually modern Indian cuisine was invented in England, if that makes sense, rather than actually
Hmm.
in the home country of India, because there's that much of a lineage of Indian descendants, you know what I mean, British born Indians of, at this point there's at least 2 generations by the 80s, because this all started after the Second World War. So this whole setup of having to go to and just the international phone calls in the 80s, ringing India and then organising flights. They didn't get in fucking Travelpedia or anything. There was no internet. You had to go through travel agents. You don't
Hmm.
just book a flight and, you know what I mean? That's for the mega rich. And even then, things took time. So this all of a sudden, like transatlantic connections, and the guy appearing like the next day is nuts.
Right.
And then when we see
Yeah.
him, you're like, well, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Is this?
It's clearly a white
Yeah,
dude
it's
with a
like
fake
that's the
beard.
most racist thing I've seen ever on TV. Like even when we watched The Mummy, even Christopher Lee putting a bit of brown paint on to be Egyptian was nothing as insulting as this.
Right.
Like this is something you'd see out of the 70s, like psychedelic party. Hey, I was just
Hmm.
spending away, man. It's just awful. Ah, okay, we'll wrap this up because fucking hell, this is painful even to talk about.
It is, and it's so sad because it's an hour-long program with 3 minutes
Yeah,
of
at the end.
story. Like, it's so awful, and there's no payoff. Like, no
No,
payoff at
because
all.
yeah. So it turns out they have a ceremony. The weird projection appears of Charlie wants to be avenged. Um,
Revenge
yep.
me. Revenge. Who the
And
fuck
plus,
says
yeah,
that?
do you instantly become a fucking retard when you're a ghost?
I guess.
Like
I
that's
guess.
always been my thing. I would like to imagine if I became a ghost, I would still be me and not
Hmm.
descend into this gibbering idiot with cliches and not being able to actually communicate with people.
Right.
Fucking weird. Even Patrick Swayze did a better
Yeah.
job in Ghost, and that was terrible. But yeah, they do the ceremony, and then they conveniently leave the cabinet open where her pills are to let her overdose, and they get her liquored up, and the shotguns are just why not? Like, had the plan for her to kill herself, or was that just the plot needed it to happen?
Hmm. I believe so. Well, and that's the thing too. Like, it doesn't. None of that made sense. Like, how did they get a fuck ton of money from her? Like, what was her dying? Like, how did that make sense that they made like had a giant bag of money? Like, oh, she's dead. Now we get this bag of
It was
money.
the
why did that happen? Why did she have to die for
Yeah,
that to happen?
because he would have actually got more money. She was already dependent on him. He would have got
Yeah,
everything by marrying. He didn't even need to involve these people. He would have got
yeah.
everything by marrying her and having her completely dependent
Hmm.
on him. Like this, that
Hmm.
was already set up. So this whole thing was bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's and then also the add insult to injury. This is the middle of England. Where the hell did that American ambulance appear?
I
That was a
didn't even
fucking
think about
American
that.
ambulance in the middle of freaking leafy suburbs of England.
Oh god, that's funny. Yeah,
That was an
I didn't even
American
consider
ambulance.
that.
Like, what the fuck? Who the hell put this up? Who the hell went to the props department? Was that the only thing in the car park they had? Or they could borrow on that
God, that's
day?
funny.
Fuck. Yeah, that's. I just looked at that and went, okay, we've got the change in fucking injuries, we've got all this random bullshit. Her body gets loaded into an American ambulance just to fuck you off even more. And then they're all celebrating. Of course, you have to do pour money out onto the table because they can't just open the bag
Hmm.
and look at it. No, the audience have to see it getting poured on the table. They have to celebrate. And then she turns into a retard as a ghost.
Yeah.
I will be revenged.
Yeah.
Sets fire to the money for why not?
Yeah.
Fade to black to the end.
I Yeah, that one was, it was a struggle. And then it was one of those ones where as soon as it ends, you just go, fuck, I really just wasted an hour of my life with this. What
Yeah,
the fuck? That's how you're gonna finish this off? Fuck
yeah, that
you.
was. If they had even just finished it with them celebrating, that would have been okay. This was as bad as the one with the seeds. Because I think we'll do a
Mm.
quick reflect on the whole series after this. But my worst episode
Hmm.
until this one was the one with the seeds and the young boy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
tried to block that one
that
out
is
of
in my
my
head as the
head.
worst. This one is.
No, this one
This
takes the
one's
cake,
there.
definitely.
It's going to be a freaking vote between these two, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, God, that was just terrible. We've two
Hmm.
left. We've two left, and then this is done. This seemed like a good idea at the start. God, folks, you better like these videos just purely the fact the pain we're having to go through to, to talk about this
Right.
shit. This is something else, honestly. There's been some gems, there's been some fun with this show,
Oh, absolutely. Hasn't all been a
but
waste, but some of
oh
them
my
have been
god,
just bad.
this still don't know what to make of it. Like, who the hell looks at this and goes, "Yeah, that was great, good job, folks, high five."
Right.
I suppose the saving grace is this is episodal rather than a season. So at least when you get a
Hmm.
bad episode, you know at least next week mightn't be as bad. So if you're watching this
Yeah.
from week to week, you kind of forget about it and go, okay, well, yeah, last week was bad, but and there's no catch up. So at least when you watched it, you could forget about it, and it just became like
Hmm.
Saturday night in front of the TV. But at least what this is showing is though that as much as we pan on modern stuff, at least we're not looking at completely rose tinted glasses at the past. TV can be
Hmm.
pretty terrible across the board. There's some
That
modern
is
stuff,
true.
but there we go. Supposed to say thanks for Horrific Tales for our authors. In February, we had Rod Nojak, Eric Capitan, and Elizabeth Suggs. Thank you very much, folks. We're kind of in needing more stories. We've kind of recorded everything and got it all scheduled. So with March covered, so folks, if you want to get involved with April onwards, please get in touch so we can keep promoting you and putting this stuff together. That's the other aspect of this podcast that we actually enjoy doing. And obviously, with looking at like what the mainstream does, then obviously it just gives us more encouragement to promote